everyone, this is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. Well, as you can see, we are on the road and heading out to an undisclosed location over in Livingston Parish. It's undisclosed, but it's not. You guys have been there before, any of you guys that were with me for the last couple of years, because 2 years ago I set a swarm trap out there. That's where we're going now. I'm rushing. I just got off work and I'm zipping across. I had no plans to set swarm boxes today at all. But I get a call from Good Time Charlie. He sends me a picture of a video of a swarm box with bees in it. Now, what he tells me is this is the trap that Mr. Ed set out. I told him it was fake news. It had to be a picture from last year. It wasn't a video, it was a picture, that's right. So he calls me, he says, no, this is this year's. Now, I just talked to Mr. Ed a few days ago. Matter of fact, when I was prepping my swarm traps, I was going to put them out early this week based on what I saw in that colony that we looked at in town. I'm thinking, hey, it's time to get some boxes up. Well, I got mine done. He was still trying to wrap his up, said he was going to put them out the next day. Of course, you know, I'm going to work, so I'm not going to put them out until it's convenient. Maybe after work one evening, later than the end of the week, maybe Saturday, I don't know. Well, sure enough, he put his out yesterday. He went to show Charlie where he put them today, and 2 of them had bees. Now, you should have already seen this video. It's going to come out after this. Well, that just put a sense of urgency in me, because here I am seeing drones, I'm seeing queen cups, I'm hearing from Mr. Ed that he's catching a colony within a day of putting a trap out. So I'm on my way to put my traps out. I prepped 3 of them this year, and I'm rolling. I am rolling. We're going to go put some traps out, and I'm going to show you how I do, because what? It's not a how-to video. I'm not showing you how to set out swarm traps. I'm telling you how I set out swarm traps. Now, if you glean something from this, and some have, and some have told me they've been successful doing what I do, man, that's great. Because I will say this is a tried and true method for me, and it's the same way everybody else does it. But I'll explain more as I set it up, how I bait it, what I do with it. So let's get on down the road and let's get these things set before dark, because I'm telling you, I got fired up. I'm excited. He's already caught 2 swarms. I want to have them out early. I was planning on early anyway, but now I'm really planning on early. Scouts are out, so let's get busy. And hey, look, this particular location we're going to, I have put a box up, caught a swarm, pulled the box down and threw another one right up on that stand and caught one the next month. So this has always been a good location for me, and we're gonna go back again. So here we go, let's head out. Oh, the sun's gonna be in your eyes, sorry about that. But let's see if that'll straighten itself out. There it goes. If you remember, there used to be a mobile home here, but I actually kept bees here at one point. I've gotten good bees out of here, I think 3 years running, and I stopped. Last year I didn't get some because I didn't want to put out any extra traps, and so that was why I didn't have one out here last year. I only put out 2 traps, but this year I want to put some more out, because I found it was great to have extra swarms, because there's always new beekeepers that may need some, may want some, and you know, we raffled one at the meeting, so heck, why not catch them and have a good time with it. So here we go. I think our nail's still in the tree, and this is where we're going to set it. So let me get out and show you how I do it. We got more to set. It's going to be another day or 2 and I'll finish the video, but we're just going to set this one for now. So for this first box, we're going to have a little bit to talk about so I can explain the method to my madness. I built these about 4 years ago. I started building these because I wanted to be able to remove boxes easy and use original equipment. I got tired of using swarm traps, although I'm actually kind of going back to them, but I like using boxes because now it's easier to just move. Y'all remember this box? I never did repair it. I'm going to use it as a swarm box. And what I found, I started doing this 2 years ago, because I heard Dirt Rooster say he was catching a lot in these mediums with deeps. So I began to use this, and I had some mediums with holes in them, top entrances that somebody had given me. So I said, well shoot, I'm going to use that as the entrance, flip a bottom board or a lid over here on the bottom and put a deep in. Now they say the ideal size is 40 liters. This is a bit bigger than 40 liters, but just the deep by itself is a little less than 40 liters. So I use the two of them together because Randy was saying, Dirt Rooster, he was talking about how he was always catching them so well in his yard. They would just move into this kind of configuration. So I tried it, and lo and behold, it worked. And it's perfect for my setup with this board that I had made a few years back. So it works great. I hang this in a tree, and when I want to put a box on, I slide a box on. When I catch one, I slide it off, put a new one on, and I keep going. And I did that at this very location with these boards 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. It was the first year I did these boards, and I caught 2 swarms in this same location. So this is a good location, and these bees have proven to be very good bees, like I said. But it was one of those deals where I didn't want any extra. Last year I just really didn't want to get into swarm catching, so I didn't. And this place was the furthest away, so I forewent. It was foregone. I didn't come out here. That's what I meant to say. But I'm gonna go back out here because I'm not gonna use my location that's been very, very trusted for me over the years. And that's because I started seeing a trend with those queens. While they were great layers and making honey for me, they were a very, very swarmy bunch. You catch them in swarm traps, but I mean, all bees swarm. So, but they are very swarmy, and I'm noticing that. And I look back at my books, and I have a problem with swarming from those. So I'm not going back out there this year. We're going to use this location and 2 new locations. There you go. Now, one of the main reasons I always set swarm traps out is because it's fun. It's just fun. It's not fun when you catch them in your yard. Well, I guess it is. And that brings me to Old Trusty. Y'all have seen the picture of Old Trusty, and I can't use that one. Well, I may can. Depends if I got time this weekend. But I caught a swarm in it about midsummer going into the end of summer. A swarm went in. It was a good swarm, which was unusual for that time of year. And I got super busy with honey and vacation and all that. Well, by the time it was time to pull out of the box, they've already built comb, I'm sure, on the bottom of the frames. I didn't want to disrupt them and tear their nest up with us in so close to fall. They were building up their stores. It would have just been wrong to tear them to pieces. So I left them in Old Trusty. I moved it so that I could reorient it away from my barn. I moved it back about 2 or 3 months later, put it back on a stand, and still there, and I have not gotten them out. So Old Trusty may not be hanging in a tree this year. If it is, it'll be because I get to it this weekend and I'm able to pull those bees. But I hate to disrupt their nest even now. I don't know. If I can get to it this week, I might try and get that Old Trusty out. But at the same time, I know we got more freezes coming. I hate to disrupt their nest and put them in jeopardy. So I don't know. I'm talking too much. Let's set some traps. So in my box, the old rotten lid, I went back to starter strips last year, folks. And if you watch my video from last year, you'll know why. They worked out beautifully. I don't know why I ever got away from them. I got away from them because I was lazy and thought I could get to my traps in time, and I didn't, and I get all kind of crazy comb. But what I do is I mainly use this as some of the very best bait right here, and that's old nasty comb. Got to get the smell in there. So I put that in there. More nasty. Has a little bit of damage. They'll clean that up if they want it. And what I've done is, besides that, I put in starter strips now. And these are old wired wax foundation the man gave me. They don't have the hooks for the wedges, so I can't really use it. So I got boxes of it. And what I did was cut it off, and I took wire cutters, and I just melted a little bit of wax. It gives them a guide to go by, and it stays in there really well and stays straight, and they build off of these fine. I want empty frames because I want a lot of space. The bees want a lot of space. They want open space. I've noticed if you put foundation in, I don't tend to catch nice swarms because they want space. So I've given them, this is empty. Okay, so that's empty. Okay, as you can see, that's empty there. I put this box on top. I fill it with mostly all empty space. So they got a big open area. You want a big gap in there. And then I have to put some of this in there just because you got to get the smell in there. You want some smell in there. And actually, I'll put, now this is a wedge I found. I just put wax on it. And I went ahead and put it between 2 frames just to give them a guide. So the middle is all wide open. I put some comb in here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to bait it with this year. If you ever follow any of my videos, you know I'm not a Swarm Commander fan. I really, it works. It definitely works. But, I mean, I get the same results from lemongrass oil. And Swarm Commander is like 30 bucks. So I always use lemongrass oil, but today we're going to do something different. And what I do with that lemongrass oil is I put a few drops on a shop towel. So I put about 8 or 9 drops of this on a shop towel in a sandwich bag. All right, I'm not gonna do it today though. I'm gonna do something different with this box. I'll put them in there, and then I zip it about halfway, and I would normally just throw it in the bottom. That's it. And then I'll take a little lemongrass oil before I put that paper towel in there. I'll take a little bit and I'll rub it on the inside of the entrance, on the outside. You know, obviously not in the bag, obviously. And that's it. That's that's how I normally bait them. That is how I normally bait them. But we're gonna do something different. Everybody knows Bob Walker from Walker Bee Ranch. Walker Bee Ranch on YouTube. Okay, I got my hands on some of his lure. And I told him I'm not a fan of the Swarm Commander, just not. But then he said, look, here's what I got, and he showed me. So he's got something called Swarm Rustler. A lot of y'all saw it if you were at Hive Life. I got my hands on some. He also gave me a capsule. Now I'm gonna use his Rustler today, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. This is what all Mr. Ed used right here, was Bob's Swarm Rustler. He caught a swarm in a day. Now, I know it's got to do with the location and all that. You know, I do know that, but hey, Bob's got something, because it definitely caught swarms. But nonetheless, Bob's worked. We do know it worked. Now here's the interesting thing that Bob gave me is the bullet. I'm gonna use one of these too. Now Mr. Ed did not use one of these. I'm gonna use them. Now with Man Lake, you'll take this and you just staple it in the box in the envelope. Another thing with Man Lake is you have to keep these frozen until you use them. With Bob's, you don't. He's got the instructions on here. He said, simply place this in the trap, pop the vial open, and let the bullets fly. Once the lure has simply, well, what he is saying is, I'm gonna show you. He explained it to me. I can't read it because I done tore it, but let me open this up. Why am I not doing it? It's your typical vial that you see, but he's got an interesting something in there that wicks up the swarm lure. And what he's saying is, you open this up, throw it in the bottom, and you're good. Open it up, throw it in the bottom, and you're good. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to put it right in about the 3/4 way back. But what he's saying is, after this thing dries up, all you have to do is add more of his Rustler back and let the bullets fly once again, okay? Because he's got this wicking material in here. I guess it wicks it up and holds it. So there you go. So this is all I'm using today. I'm gonna use that vial. I am going to use his spray, and I'm simply going to put some on the frames and on the entrance, and that's it. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. That's it. That's it. That's it. That was strange. So we'll put the vial in there. I'll shoot it. Make sure it's shooting out good. I'm going to shoot some in the back. It's getting cool out here. I'm going to shoot some on the top of the frame. And I'm going to shoot some on the entrance. There you go. Put a little bit on that one. There we go. That's it. It's baited. One of the best attractants is going to be that wax, that old comb. It really is. Mr. Ed will tell you he's caught swarms with no lemongrass and just the comb. I have two out in my yard when I leave my equipment out. Catch swarms. So here we go. I'm going to throw this thing up in the tree. That's how I'm baiting it, guys. I'm going to strap a strap around it. We're going to stick it in the tree. One thing you always notice when I hang swarm boxes is I hang them where I can reach them. I'm not getting way up on ladders. I will go after swarms on ladders at times if it's safe. But I learned years ago, you don't have to put them up way high in the tree. No reason to be climbing ladders and going way up in the tree. You need to do something safe. Now that is me saying how to. Be safe. Be safe with these things. It's not worth breaking your neck, falling out of a tree, falling off a ladder, out of the back of a truck. Now, while I can reach it when it's heavy and full of bees, I will back the truck up to it. And I'll get on the tailgate and I'll lift it off. But it's safe and stable. Don't ever go super high. No need. No need. No need. I've caught them in hives sitting on the ground. I mean, you know, on a hive stand, you know, ground. Maybe what? A foot? No need. So once again, I'm using Bob Walker's from Walker Bee Ranch on YouTube. I'm using his swarm rustler. This is the bullet. This is the actual rustler itself. Premium swarm lure. He will not reveal to me what's in it. Of course, it does smell like lemongrass, but I don't know what else he's got in it. And I'm not going to press him on it. I'm just going to see how it works and see what it does. All right, that's it. We're set. I don't have another one to set this evening. I just wanted to get one out to make myself feel better because I was so anxious when I heard that Mr. Ed had a swarm coming in. That's crazy. So I had to get it out here. We had to at least get one on a tree and just know that we have at least got one out here for the scouts to check out. So I was thinking about hanging a second one out here. Who knows? Maybe I go put one in a tree. I don't know. But I probably need to ask the landowner something before I go and do that. Well, hey there, folks. It is the next day, and I have got a new location for a swarm box. As I might have said previously in the video, I'm going to one old place and then 2 new places. I have not found the third yet, but I am anxious to get them out because of Mr. Ed catching 2 swarms overnight one day after he put his traps out. So that's why we're out here. I've got a place I want to put these. This is going to be a great location near the river. I hope it's going to be a great location. We shall see. Plenty of woods, plenty of old water oaks and things like that for colonies to be nested in. Being the river's right over there. That short that I did in the cemetery, that cemetery is literally across the river. It's about a mile that way. So I know there's bees out in this area. Not that I would catch those necessarily. I'm just saying there's a lot of bees out here, a lot of feral bees out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get busy, and I'm gonna bait a second swarm box, but I'm gonna do it a little differently. So let's take a look and see what I'm gonna do with this different type of swarm box I got. I had went away from your swarm box, like dedicated swarm box, and started using regular equipment, as you saw in the video yesterday that I clipped. But I got my hands on a couple of pre-made, built, use-built, whatever you want to call it, purpose-built, that's what I'm looking for, purpose-built swarm boxes that I have bought from some members, a couple in the club, and I'm going to use those. And then I have Old Trusty, but Old Trusty's still full of bees. Got to get those bees out. It's just too close to still some freezing weather for me to be disrupting their nest just yet, because I have to cut some comb off the bottom. So I'm going to get out a swarm box and show you how I bait this one. Very similar to yesterday, but I'm going to show you how I have it set up and what I'm going to put in it. All right, folks, here it is, purpose-built. Very nicely built, actually. Got this big giant orange wheel on it, definitely, but that could be a good target for bees. I did repaint the other one, camoed it, because the third one I'm thinking I might end up having to put on an unsecured location, and just don't want people, you know, teenagers goofing around in the woods or something messing with it. But this one is done similar to the other starter strips. Old comb. Now this one don't have a starter because it's actually got the old comb. There were bees in these boxes, so that's a good thing, but not very long, so they're still kind of fresh. But this is good enough for starter. And this one I've got comb complete with wax moth. There you go. So he's gone. That wax moth is laying eggs. Now this box is built to around 40 liters. My other swarm trap that I got, that's a purpose-built swarm trap, Old Trusty, it's built to 40 liters. Okay, so this 40 liters is because it's so deep, even though it's only 5 frames. My 40-liter box is 8 frames and 12 inches deep. The medium and deep I put up is a little bit over 40 liters. So that's kind of the goal for swarm traps. So let's take a look at how I'm gonna bait this one. So like I said, 8 to 10 drops on here. Maybe I said 9, I don't know. All right, that's it. That's actually just 11, I think. I take this and I put them drops on it, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll wipe the entrance with it. That's it, and I'll do the inside. This has worked for me for years, and it's tried and true. That's why I stick with it. So, got lemongrass on it. I'm gonna put it in this bag right here. I'm gonna zip it halfway. This is what I showed y'all yesterday. I zip it halfway. I'm gonna lay this in the bottom. That's it. That's all I do. I'm gonna put it in the back corner. The swarm rustler vial, I'm not gonna use that in this one, because I only got 2, and I'm gonna save one for that last trap. I'm out here baiting this trap. I don't know if you can see it in this video or not, but a bee has already showed up and was crawling on the comb. There's one. So there you go. I think we're gonna have a successful trip out here. So there you go. We got a bee already investigating. Of course, it's not gonna be right here. The last thing I'm gonna do, I am gonna use Bob's swarm rustler, like I said, but I only got 2 of the capsules. I'm gonna use the other capsule in the other trap. The other trap I may not be checking as often, so I want to make sure I got a capsule in that one. So the traps I'm not gonna check as often. I'm gonna put the 2 capsules in, and this one I'm not. I'm gonna put my baggie in. There we go. So now with that spray, I think that spray that'll last me a couple weeks, no problem. Every couple weeks I come out and I just put one little shot of this stuff on, or I would usually put a few more drops on my paper towel. And that's it. Now we're gonna go hang it. Right there on one of them trees. Find somewhere secure, nobody takes it, you know?
That's when you gonna come get it?
Yeah, I let them be in there for about 4 or 5 days, maybe a week. Well, hello folks, I'm back, and I have got that trap set. I stayed out there, hung out with my friend, and we talked for a while, and it got dark, and I didn't feel like really closing out the video. But as you can see, I set 2 swarm boxes. I'm gonna set the 3rd. I haven't gotten a place yet. Again, I'm not going back to where I was last season. I've been catching bees at one particular place and area for a few years now, and I've stopped because I have noticed they have a terrible, terrible swarming tendency. I thought they were really good queens, but it turns out I looked at the trend because I was wondering where those queens were that I've caught, and I've noticed that I had a lot of swarming problems with them. So I'm going back in different locations. The first trap we set, I've always had great success there with those bees. Still got plenty of those out there in those genetics. I might even set them out here in these woods. I don't know. But here's the deal. It's like the 7th or 8th of February, and we're in bee season. Guys, I've never had the boxes hung this early. I'm hanging swarm boxes. We got Carolina Jasmine. I'm seeing that. That doesn't normally come out until the beginning of March. I'm seeing Carolina Jasmine, which is poisonous, but I mean, not to the point where it really damages hives. I'm seeing azaleas popping, another poisonous one, but I'm seeing them popping sporadically. The red maple is just all over the place. Like, some are full bloom and others aren't, and some have already bloomed. We've got warm weather. It's cooling off tomorrow, back into the 30s, then back into the 70s again after that. So it's just been crazy, and it's been super, super wet. And we have had inches and inches of rain. We've had this month, well, last month, we had well over 10 inches of rain. I mean, it's been a crazy winter, if you want to call it that. So as crazy as this sounds, we're going to be in the bee season. We're getting ready to go in the hives this week to go start looking to see what's going on. With Mr. Ed catching swarms, I'm just gets me all nervous about what mine are doing. You know, feral bees will normally swarm first around here just because we manage our bees different and ferals are not managed, but nonetheless. So you see how I set my boxes. That's how I set them. I've always set them outside of the spray. I did try Swarm Commander 2 years in a row. Didn't see a big difference. But I put Bob's on there because Mr. Ed had great success with it. And you know what? I want to try and I want to give his stuff a shot. I like his vial idea with the vials. Those are great. So I'm kind of liking his deal. I put the vials in the traps that I knew I wouldn't be getting back to regularly. That one we put out tonight, I can probably get back to that one more regularly. It's closer to the house. Wherever I put the other one, I'm probably going to put it further away. So I will put Bob's link in the bottom. I do think Jason from Bahamian Bees might be selling his stuff too, and a few other people he's got it with. But I'll put his link to his channel. It's Bob Walker at Walker Bee Ranch on YouTube. They do a chat each week for hours on end. You can always catch him there and ask him about it. But we'll see how it goes. Pretty happy to have it and pretty happy to try it. But we'll see how it goes. We saw a scout on that first one. I'll take you back when we check them. I'm not gonna, if I get a chance to throw a camera up on the third one I bait, hey, I'll take you with me. But I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing. Again, that's the way I've done it. It's tried and true for me. Outside of the Bob stuff, the paper towel deal, a little bit of lemongrass here and there, and the comb has worked every year for me, and I'm gonna continue to do it that way. And of course I went back to starter strips in the frames. You can see that, so that's good. That really it worked out the first few years I trapped, and I got away from it thinking I could get back and get them in time, and I never would. So I went back to it last year, and once again it works fabulously again. So why'd I get away from something that worked? So anyway, I'll take you back when we go check them. Hopefully we'll be getting some bees pretty soon. We'll find out. But look, it is on, folks. We're getting ready to get into bee season. I hate it for you guys up north. You're probably itching to get in yours, but hey, I could stand to wait another 3 weeks, but doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the trip with me. If you happen to pick up any tips, hey, it wasn't because I was doing a how-to. It was just because I was showing you what I do and what's been successful. I know some people though have used some of my tips and have said they've had great success, so I'm happy about that. And if you picked up any, that's great. I appreciate all y'all guys watching. I appreciate your support. I really, really do. We are nearing 10,000. I told Bruce the other day I thought I was around 1185 away. Turns out I'm actually around 1800 away, but I never would have thought I'd gotten to 10,000. But yeah, I'm almost to 10,000 subscribers. Crazy, but hey, I really appreciate your support. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I will be doing bees really soon. Y'all have a wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see y'all later.